Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. 10 years ago, this newscaster was doing a special on Pizzagate. And this is 10 years ago. It's amazing because I remember this happening, and it doesn't seem 10 years ago. And anyway, he did the newscast live on TV, and he got in a lot of trouble from his little rich place he was working for, which is a corporation. Yeah, it's corporated. Damn, right? And they punished him. They suspended him, made him jump over some hoops and through some tire rings and stuff. In other words, what I'm saying is they made him take down his accounts and this and that, which is baloney. He should have just quit. But then he went back to work for him for about another year, and then they fired him. So in other words, it seemed like the newscast, whoever he worked for, was covering for some bad people. Damn, they do that? But anyway, this podcaster that's exposing this, you guys need to check him out. He's putting out some pretty dang good videos. It looks like he's sitting in a basement. But hey, he puts out some great videos of it. I know there's a lot of people out there, conspiracy thirst. You know what I learned in the last 10 years is pretty much everything they called a conspiracy theory came true. And yeah, I don't see anybody going, whoa, or dang, he was right. Nobody's even waking up to this. Well, somewhat. I mean, a lot of people are waking up to it, but a lot of these people that were bringing this out got attacked quite a bit because they were brainwashed to basically go after these people with the conspiracy theory. But now, oh my goodness, look at it now. It's coming out, and open your damn eyes and look at this. I wasn't really young. Look, check it out.
Reporter was fired after airing this segment exposing Pizzagate.
Well, Pizzagate, it became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing to some people.
Yeah.
But this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. And to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia.
Well, they do if you understand their vocabulary, it does. Like, this is like saying that nothing in this email is explaining anything, but that's because the email's written in Spanish. Yeah, retard. Which, by the way, this guy's not a retard. I'm just saying in general. It's a royal retard, right? Yeah, very obviously, if you read it for, its actual stated purpose, it makes a lot more sense. Let them cook, I get that.
That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a D.C. pizza parlor get pulled into the story? But again, read any mainstream report, and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is, that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times.
That's a lot.
And that the owner of that place...
That's a lot of times to talk about one pizza place, man. Wow. I don't even talk about McDonald's that much.
place, James Alefantis is a friend of John Podesta. He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner.
Wow.
Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong
It sure is interesting, isn't it?
Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI...
And keep in mind, this was in 2016 or 15, somewhere around there. So this was like almost 10 years prior to that.
Contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They've removed the triangle.
Smart.
Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alefantis.
The thing is that every single one of these is easily explainable, easily understandable, and yeah, you could see something like that happen. Definitely. Yeah. But there sure are a lot of coincidences, aren't there? And every coincidence happens to, if it turns out to be true, arrive at the same conclusion. Isn't that weird? Every coincidence leads to the same conclusion. Wow.
Is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. 2 of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and
I didn't know this part. Wow.
The band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there,
there's the spinny thing,
that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alefantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archived search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and...
Those are the photographs of, like, the children with their hands tied down?
Words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures.
Yeah.
We're not even going to describe them to you because
I just did.
Some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Wow.
He was referred to...
That's weird.
...by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes.
All right, yep.
And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange...
Also, wait, somebody just made something pretty clear. They were asked about this. So, he went to jail for 15 months for being a serial child molester? I feel like you should be in jail for longer than that if you're a serial child molester. Like, yeah, I mean, a serial child, like 15 months.
A bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes. And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now keep in mind, again, there is no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a DC pizza parlor. And investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place? That's Reality Check. Let's talk about it on Twitter.
Where's this guy now? The segment effectively ended on the station in early 2017. Swan aired a controversial Reality Check episode January 2017 that discussed Pizzagate conspiracy theory. This led to his suspension, and he was required to take down his associated Truth and Media website and social media accounts as a condition of the reinstatement. Although he returned to on-air duties briefly, the Pizzagate-focused segment is widely regarded as his last official Reality Check aired on mainstream television. And he was fired a year after that. What did he do after that? After being fired, he published for Liberty Nation, returned to work on Russia Today America. He was involved that shortly. Swan's production company received their money into Russia again, including 12 high-profile part series Zelensky Unmasked. So he's involved with this, promoted by right-wing influencers and funded separately. He remains active on social media. Man. Wait. No shot. He did another one. Oh my God.
Epstein is...
This is literally the same guy 10 years later. He released this, I guess, yesterday. He released it yesterday. He never stopped.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the number one trending topic on Twitter.
Yep.
But the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade. That Pizzagate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that to what we
years
have now
ago.
learned.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago
I'm gonna link
when
you guys the
an armed man
video.
decided to investigate a DC
Here's
area
the video
pizza place
right here.
for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at
There's
the
the
floor.
video.
Media
Give him a
is telling you
follow.
the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate?
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor, nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least. References to pizza, and to pizza handkerchiefs, and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people. Some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use.
We know he's using it because we use it. No way. Oh my God. Spider-Man meme, yes. Takes one to know one. What a twist.
To speak in coded language. And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They've removed the triangle.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I was called a dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman for claiming that pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites.
Can you imagine, like, bro, can you imagine being this fucking vindicated? Oh my God. 10 years later. Holy shit.
Might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do.
Of course.
Which brings us back to this new Epstein release, because in it, the word pizza is mentioned 911 times. That's right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word pizza is often paired with grape soda in bizarre contexts within emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose names have been mostly redacted. So here's one. Quote, "This is better than a Chinese cookie.
We saw this
Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand."
No one else can understand.
Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please? Or this one from 2014. "Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you. He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this."
On this, with the winky face, bro. With the winky face at the end of it. What's grape soda? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Little winking emoji. All of the emails that I just shared with you were from 2014, right about the same time period of the John Podesta emails that WikiLeaks published and started the entire Pizzagate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time,
15
there was
months,
a lot of bizarre communication, including an email from John Podesta to his brother Tony. The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber." That email
Why are they talking so much about torture chambers? Isn't that weird?
got really no attention 10 years ago, but today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention, as it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
To the fallout.
Totally normal thing to say. "Oh, I love the torture video."
From the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last, batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
Friday's release of millions of
There's no way it's the last one.
pages related to Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic.
They did. Yep, nobody wanted to talk about this at all.
They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They called it a conspiracy. They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
I thought it was a conspiracy too. I'll admit it. I did. I thought it was a conspiracy. Now, I'm not as sure.
For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Very interesting
10
question.
years later, no investigation ever took place. It's a failure.
So they never looked into this at all. Wow. That's so convenient for them. That's nuts. Think about that. The guy only got 15 months in jail for being a serial child molester.
Of a complicit
I feel
government.
like it'd be at least 2 years.
And also of a corporate media that didn't just ignore this evil. They helped to cover it up and keep it operating in the shadows. See, by refusing to engage honestly...
Think about it. Why would they investigate themselves? Right? That wouldn't be good for them, would it?
in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation, by silencing questions instead of asking them, they created the very environment where this evil could thrive.
He's right.
They didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting was false. I was censored because it was dangerous.
You asked the question about the wrong
Narratives,
thing.
dangerous to reputations,
Yep.
dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog.
Bro, so fucking based. Oh my god. Yep, absolutely. That's why mainstream media died after COVID. Like, the mainstream media credibility after COVID went to the shitter.
See, the unspoken rule
insane.
was simple. Some questions are not allowed. Not
Yep.
because they're wrong. No. But because they lead to the truth.
That's right.
And the truth?
You don't ask that.
Pizzagate. At least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who
Yep.
delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real. Remember how we started. Epstein is Pizzagate. But the other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
Man. Professional career destroyed, called a conspiracy theorist, totally fucking defamed, and everything, all for 10 years later that he comes back and everything that he originally said was actually true. There's the video right there. Make sure to give him a follow, give it a like, man. That was fucking amazing. Oh my god. Still became a Giga Chad. Too fucking true, man. Too fucking true. Yeah, my mom was in on it. I didn't believe any of that shit. I didn't believe anything about this at all. And now it turns out that, oh my fucking god, a lot of this stuff seems to actually be true. Holy shit.
This podcaster puts out some kick butt videos. I don't know what his name is, but I'll hear it. It's ASMON Gold TV. He puts out some awesome stuff, and I'm happy that he put that out because a lot of people need to see this because they actually thought that it was all made up. Even when that guy went into the pizza place and shot it up, he heard what was going on. He went to react, and it was all a cover-up. Oh, nothing to see here. No investigation. Nothing. Well, why would they, right? Why would you investigate yourself, right? Why? And hats off to Ben Swan, I think it was Ben Swan, for sticking with it, no matter how much people were calling him conspiracy theory, because I know how that feels. And 10 years later, boom, he puts this out. Oh my gosh, that is the bomb. But when I think it comes to pizza, those signs mean a lot more than what he's actually saying. It means what it means. But I actually seen a video where Ellen DeGeneres was handing out pizzas at her show, and they weren't normal pizzas. So I think they have more meaning behind it, what you think, in different ways. I mean, it does mean what he said, but then it also means more than that. And then they also talked about, Podestas, very, very bad people. And they just showed you how it's in the government. In the government that's supposed to be there for all of us to help us through things. And it's just showing you that, yeah, we need to get rid of the government and redo it or whatever. But there's some evil people locked into that. And now you wonder why, when they go into the Senate and the Congress, why they stay so long. The longer they stay, the worse they get, the more money they... It's just a travesty. But anyway, there you go. Check those guys out. You won't regret it. Subscribe. Love you guys. Give me a thumbs up. Give me some support. Let's get this out there.